All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the regular videos. Here we are back home. It is Tuesday, May 6th, and we got a 16-game MLB slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games. I'm going to give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That'll take you to all of my final plays, so I'm rolling with myself. If that does interest you, it's absolutely free down in the pinned comment. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I tell you guys I'm a dummy all the time. They don't suck. They've just been sucking. Get them down to -3 for more juice than Jose Canseco in his prime. Tell me you're new without telling me you're new. So don't go jumping down my throat in the comments, right? If you want to fade me, or if you do want to ride me, this still leaves a bad taste in my mouth, right? And remember, more chins, more wins. Now, like I said, we are back to the regular videos. I hope this one goes okay. I literally, about less than an hour ago, got off of a red-eye flight. Now we're recording this. I haven't slept since 2 days ago, so yeah, things are a little wonky here. So hopefully we can keep the speech together, the train of thoughts rolling, not too many rants. We can keep things going here and keep the show rolling smoothly. But I guess no promises, but you know what? We do have a nice little celebration from yesterday, a 3-0 sweep. Just a nice little easy money gun. Just a little bit, because we did have an 0-3 sweep, reverse sweep, the night before. So we can't get too excited about that, but we did have the White Sox and the Royals first 5 under. I think that's a really good look. I'll take a cha-ching for it. The Cubs first 5 money line. Kind of wish I went with run line, but you know what? We'll take the cha-ching. And then the real juiced play, Jared Chirillo there, under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. So yeah, nice little 3-0 day. Obviously, we did pay a little bit of juice, tasted our morning OJ, but nonetheless, 3 winners altogether. And it is kind of weird to say yesterday when, like I said, I haven't gone to sleep yet, so these 3 plays feel like they were still today, just like a long today ago. But you know what? Hopefully we get some rest after we get the work done today. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into today's slate, guys. Like I said, 16 games to jump back into. We do have a doubleheader that we're starting it off with. But first, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I don't want to go on too long of a rant here, but I really do appreciate that you guys still tuned in and supported and got involved in the comments when we do travel. Like, obviously, this is the bread and butter. This is what I want to do, all the game breakdown and all that. But when we do travel, I'd rather get a video out than no video at all, and we have to resort to kind of the hybrid version of the video. But you guys are still super, super supportive, so really appreciate that, right? Let's go ahead and dive into today's games. Starting off with Washington, Cleveland. Put the 2 doubleheaders at the top so we can kind of go through them quickly, because I do not like to wager on doubleheaders really myself. But in game number 1 here, we have Jake Irvin going up against Luis Ortiz. I would say this Nationals team, you know, they've been playing decent baseball, right? 3 of their last 4. They took the series against Cincinnati. They've won 5 of their last 10, but realistically, they've been a decent team at home, right? They even took, in their last homestand, they took 2 of 4 or 2 of 3 against the Mets. This is a decent team at home, right? 16-19 on the year, but 9-7 at home. Going up against the Guardians, who just won a series against Toronto. They had the day off. Now they come to Washington. In a doubleheader situation, this may be the spot in which you take the underdog twice. And, you know, if you win one, if they split, which is very usual for a doubleheader, you still make a little bit of profit. In terms of the total here, I would say a slight lean to the over. But again, first leg of a doubleheader, first game of a doubleheader, there's just so many factors here. Are they going to sit some guys, save them for the next game, or vice versa? If you're going to roll with the second game in terms of making plays on it, did something in the first game impact it? Just seems like there's always too many question marks. So I'll go Washington in the over in both of these games. And FYI, in game number 2, it's going to be Brad Lord against Ben Lively. Like I said, my stance on it still kind of remains the same. We do have right-handed pitcher on the mound for both Cleveland games here. Washington has a few guys that do bat righties fairly well. Abrams, Wood, Ruiz, Garcia. So, yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. But don't expect many final plays, or if any final plays, for these 2 games. All right, next up, we have Miami taking on the Dodgers. In terms of who's pitching, of Cal Quantrill on the mound going up against Dodgers' Tony Gonsolin, who actually made his season debut, you know, just about, a week ago or so, against this very same Miami team. Cal Quantrill's numbers against the Dodgers are just bad, and that shouldn't shock anybody, right? He's got nearly 150 plate appearances against, 148 to be exact. A K rate of 10.8, that's gross. A walk rate of 12.2. Drop a womp womp for Cal there. An average against of 346. Expected WOBA here 380, real WOBA 425. So I don't expect much out of him. But Tony Gonsolin, I wouldn't necessarily sit here and blow smoke up here, you know what, and say that he looked lights out in his first start. Now he had 9 strikeouts, 0 walks, 6 innings pitched, 6 hits. 3 earned runs. Like, there are some positives to pull from that. I think he had a pretty good whip in that one start, if I'm not mistaken. And he was really good against righty bats, which there are a couple righty bats in this line for 3 and 4 hitter that you don't have to worry about. But ultimately, there's a couple decent lefties in there, too, that he might struggle with. I think I'm just going to take a peek at an over in this one. If I did have to take a side, I would have to fade Cal Quantrill. So maybe a first 5 run line for this Dodgers team, but they are on the road. And again, even though Gonsolin, some of the numbers look really good, and they do, I want to see him pitch well again. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes the guys have good first starts when coming back, and then kind of like a setback second start, and then we've seen that time and time again. I kind of want to prove that out before rolling with it. So I think the thing that I would actually roll with in this one would ultimately end up being an over. We just saw, I was going to say yesterday, a 7-4 game, right? And I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be able to see something similar, because even if Gonsolin goes out there and shoves, who's to say this Dodgers team can't, like, cover 80% of that total themselves in a sense, you know? They definitely can if they do well. I do have a player prop that I like, and it's Cal Quantrill, so I might keep this one off the card, but man, Michael Conforto here, under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, 10 plate appearances against Quantrill, 143 average against, on base of just 400. He does have 1 hit. It's a home run, so that's a little tough. But he's batting 130 this year against righties. That ain't all that great, right? And then you look at Cal Quantrill. He's got a batting average against of 345, 255 against the left-handed bats. So he's actually okay against lefties in relation to against righties. And Conforto, you know, he's going to see the splitter, fine, the fastball, the cutter. All these pitches he hits, fine. But he's not really hitting anything. Like, in relation to how he's doing, those pitches aren't really, you know, showing too much of a margin of error or whatever you want to call it. But he's not really hitting anything that well, you know what I mean? So that's a spot that I'd look at, and I think you're getting good odds because of how bad Cal Quantrill is. Next up, we have Boston taking on Texas. Eovaldi's on the mound for Texas, and I feel like that's always something worth considering when he pitches against his former squad, the Red Sox. So I do think I ultimately end up leaning towards Nate Eovaldi and the Rangers, but I'm really thinking about targeting the first 5 under in this one. Now, if you look at the Red Sox offense lately, it looks like it may be putting some pieces together, right? 6, 3, 4 runs scored. Texas coming off of an 8-run game, but prior to that, they were kind of stinking. We have Lucas Giolito on the other side for Boston here. He has 1 start this year against Toronto, 7 Ks, 2 walks, did have 2 home runs, pitched 6 innings, only 5 hits though. So I think that there are some numbers that we can pull there. And what we know about him, he's going to throw the fastball and the changeup, especially being in his second start of the season. We expect that even more to stick to what works. Texas, and let me show you the dashboard here, guys. I'll explain how to get access to our Guy Boston Sports dashboard in just a second, but Texas against the fastball. Last 30 days, runs above average per 100 pitches seen in terms of specific pitch. Fastball, 27th in the league, changeup, 29th. You can see right here, Lucas Giolito, fastball, changeup, that's making up the majority of his pitch mix, right? Now, we're only looking at 1 start through, but this is fairly consistent with what he's done, you know, in the past as well. So I do like that first 500. I think that we know what we're going to be getting out of Nate Eovaldi, or we should know what we're going to get out of him, and throw in the fact that you can get this actually at under 5. Yeah, minus 150, maybe that's a little too juicy, but under 4.5, I still don't mind. We'll see how risky we're feeling. But Nate Eovaldi on the season is, 6-0-1 against this in terms of games that he started. So he has 1 push in there, but no losses. You throw in, obviously, Giolito on the other side of things. He pitched against Toronto. They actually did stay under this number because he pitched pretty well into like the 5th and 6th inning. So yeah, we have 2 pitchers that are kind of trending in that direction as well. First 500 is what I'd look at, and like I said, I can't just look past Eovaldi against his old team. He had some really good numbers against them as well. 90 plate appearances against this current roster, 28% K rate, expected batting average against, 224, expected WOBA of 325, and how about this? Average launch angle, 8.4. And also we throw in the fact that we're talking about an under here, right? This ain't the best weather in Boston. I just got off the plane, wore shorts from Vegas, off the plane, got into the car. legs were frozen. So yeah, it's chilly, I guess. Not crazy chilly, but I was coming from like 70-degree weather, so I guess that makes sense. And guys, by the way, in terms of getting access to that dashboard, over on GuyBostonSports.com, right here, the members area in the menu, you can hover over that. On mobile, it's a little bit different, but still the same concept. Head over to the MLB dashboard section right there. I'm already logged in, so I'll see the dashboard right away, and you can see here, you can open this dashboard up each and every day. You get each and every game broken out in a visual format, so you can kind of start your research process on the right foot. We have pitcher data here, also bullpen data. We have the starting pitcher pitch mix, so we know what they're going to throw. Batting in terms of overall last 30 days against the hand that pitcher, opposing pitcher is throwing with, and against that hand and in situation. So right-handed on the road, that type of thing, right-handed at home. You also see how the batters and the team batting is against those pitches as well. Like I said, this is a really good starting tool. And I tell you guys all the time, the reason we made this was not to go out there and monetize it or just give it to you guys, really, to be honest. I made this so that I could optimize my research process, make it more efficient in the mornings and late at night when I was preparing for videos. And then I said, you know what, this thing's pretty damn cool. It's saving me tons of time. Let me share it with you guys, right? And if you are not logged in, I'll show you what that looks like real quick. If you do, same thing, you head over, you're going to see members, MLB dashboard. It's going to say, hey, hold up, you need a membership here. We do have multiple memberships available. We have the All Sports, which includes our NBA dashboard, but if you just want the MLB dashboard, $4.99 there. Go ahead and check it out, guys. Definitely something that I swear by in terms of all the information in there. And the cool thing is we're consistently adding to it. And yes, if we add something groundbreaking, whatnot, the price may go up, but whatever price you get in at, and if you keep your subscription active, that price stays flat. So it doesn't just bump up the minute you sign up or anything like that. You can get in at whatever price you get in at. And even if we add the greatest and best thing to it and we up the price, mid-season or whatever, you still get what you signed up at. I think it's a cool concept. Really cool tool. Go check it out, guys. Again, GuyBostonSports.com. All right, Tampa Bay taking on Philadelphia. This is, I know I say this a lot, but this is an interesting one. We have Drew Rasmussen on the mound for Tampa Bay, who's been very good, right? He's coming off of a couple starts were a little bit shaky, but Arizona, I guess Kansas City's not really an excusable one, but Arizona in Arizona. But Zach Wheeler is really one of those guys that I like to back, right? And he's had a really good year. I mean, his strikeout rate is over 32%. It's almost 33%. Walk rate just around 5%. I do think that he could be in a good situation here in a sense, especially with a Philly offense behind him. Now, the Philly offense was looking kind of like, inconsistent, right? But they've scored 7+ runs in 4 of their last 6 games and 7 and 9 in their last 2 games. So I think this offense could get going. I think a little bit of a concern for me would be them on the road offensively, but again, potentially Drew Rasmussen sitting here being due for a little bit of regression, that type of thing. If you go bullpen per bullpen, you can make an argument that Tampa Bay's is pretty good. But they did have, now no one threw yesterday, but they did have a decent stack of their guys go the 2 days prior. So maybe that kind of takes them down a little bit. I don't know. I'm just trusting the offense and Zach Wheeler being the better pitcher in this case. So it's going to be Philly money line for me. First 5 money line if you're afraid of the bullpen, which is definitely valid if that is the case. When we get to a total, I would sit here and say, well, even though I think Philly's offenses could be good and that type of thing, Drew Rasmussen still has been very good. And even though I sense him maybe moving in the wrong direction, obviously I've jinxed things before, right? He might have those 2 kind of mass starts and bounce right back to pitching like he was, right? And pitching really well. So I'm going to lean under. But I do think Philly's money line is probably at the top of my chart, if I'm being honest here. And then in terms of player props, let me make sure that I didn't have any that were skipping over here. A couple. So these are super juiced, but realistically, I still want to vet them out, but I'll share them with you as of right now. We had Jonathan Aranda, under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Been stinking all year, hit a home run in his last game, so I kind of expect him to regress a little bit, right? He is going up against Zach Wheeler, so that should be pretty good, but he's batting against lefties pretty damn well this year. That being said, Zach Wheeler's been really good against lefty bats, so that could be good. And then the other one is Junior Caminero here, under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Again, just kind of playing the trends, and similar, you have a Zach Wheeler matchup, isn't going to be all that easy. But those are super juiced, FYI. All right, Yankees taking on San Diego. Obviously, there's some weather yesterday, and it looks like we're going to have a lot of weather again today. That's going to make me, one, probably consider an under because of the weather, and two, I think I'm going to go to the pitcher that I trust a little bit more, and that's going to be Michael King. I would expect him to force more ground balls, certainly, than Clark Schmidt, which if it's rainy, keeping the balls on the ground is going to be very, very good. Even if it's raining, you put the ball in the air, it's not like it's all that bad, right? It might knock it down in a sense. But one thing that I'm looking at here is that Michael King's slider is going to be, should be at least I should say, his main pitch today. This is a Yankee squad that obviously is a very, very good offense. But they're 24th in terms of league ranking. Last 30 days, per 100 sliders seen, runs above average. That isn't all that great. Am I kind of worried about the top of their order? Yeah, that's fair enough. I think anyone could be. But it's not like the San Diego top of the order is anything to tip your nose at either, right? So if that's a wash, I would say San Diego's bullpen is far better, right? And I'm giving the starting pitching advantage certainly to this San Diego side. I think I like San Diego on the money line here. I will be honest, price is a little sketchy to me. Maybe it's because we're in Yankee Stadium and that type of stuff, but I can't deny it. I like San Diego on the money line. I think this is one that you could probably make an argument for the Yankees. What if they do? What if they keep kind of racing and roaring offensively and do the thing? Judge has been phenomenal, but this is like sneaky and quietly a Yankees team that has lost, 4 of their last 5 games? It's not like they're rolling, right? Whereas San Diego, they're kind of on an absolute scorcher right now. So, yeah, you have momentum on your side as well. I'll lean towards San Diego and under, I guess, but maybe San Diego team total over. So it's kind of like 2 ships passing in the night. I think Michael King could pitch well, so it's kind of preventing me from really wanting the Yankees to score a lot of runs. But, Clark Schmidt, I don't want to sit here and say that I think he's all that tremendous, right? He has like 3 starts on the year. Fairly mediocre so far, if you ask me. All right, next up, Atlanta taking on Cincinnati. I'd say most likely going to sit here with a Atlanta first 5 run line or pass. Chris Sale on the mound, obviously I'd say he's more trustworthy than Andrew Abbott, but at the same time, Chris Sale hasn't been, and it's hard to be what he was last year, but he hasn't been the Chris Sale of last year yet. He's coming off of a couple good starts in a row against, 3 good starts in a row, but Minnesota, Arizona, and Colorado. I'll give him credit for that Arizona start, but even that, he only went, 5 1/3 or something like that. So, again, he hasn't really looked fully up to par, and Andrew Abbott's been kind of looking good. So, worrisome to take that first 5, but I do think that if we look at these offenses, it's clear which offense is moving in the right direction. So both have had very much ups and downs, right? But at least Atlanta kind of got it going, and then they had 2, or I guess you could say 3 bad games maybe against the Dodgers, and they scored 4 runs, then 4 runs. Cincinnati is going in the wrong direction. They scored 6, then 6, and it's like, oh, yippee. Then they go 1 and 0. And if I know anything about the Cincinnati team now, I don't know if I put my hard-earned bread on it, because this is kind of like hearsay, right? But this Cincinnati team, their offense goes like this: up and down, up and down. And you can almost see it when you look at their game log. Like, this is just the last 10. Ready? 6, 8, 3, 0, 1, 9, 6, 6, 1, 0. It is truly 3 games up, 3 games down. So if they're in the middle of a downturn right now, I don't want to be taking them against Chris Sale. I would say that, Andrew Abbott, if we want to give him credit, maybe we could say that this game finishes under. You have 2 decent bullpens, and 2, again, if we give Andrew Abbott his credit, 2 decent pitchers on the mound. So I'll lean towards the under here as well. And real quick, one player prop that I'm targeting here going to be Matt McClain. I almost said Mac McClung. Shout out to the NBA. Matt McClain here, under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I know, Ev, all you do is take player props, hits, runs, and RBIs. It's been working for us. We're going to stick to it for a little bit, all right? We are going to switch some things up soon enough, because I'm starting to like some overs, developing some processes there. And then also, I think we might be looking at either 0.75 or 1 unit plays in the next week or so. I love our sort of gradual ascend to our units, and we've been doing that pretty well. So, yeah, Matt McClain right now, decent odds over on Novig. So, yeah, go ahead and check that out if you want. If you still want to pay some juice, DK's got it as well. Same with, I believe, MGM. But, yeah, Novig's got some decent value as of right now. All right, next up, Milwaukee taking on Houston, and there's kind of one thing that I'm going off of here. We found it in our dashboard, and it jumps out. It sticks out like a sore thumb here. Hayden Wesnecky going up against Chad Patrick, right? Both these guys, I don't really want to say too much about them. Pitcher-wise, they're both kind of mediocre in my brain. Chad Patrick, I do think has some potential. But anyways, look at this. He's going to throw the cutter like half the time, right? Look at this right there. The one glaring thing, and this is what's great about this dashboard. Things can jump out at you. Houston stinks out loud against the cutter. Everyone but Pena here, who's just 0.3 runs above average for him in the last 30 days here against the pitch type. Everyone is under that. So minus 0.58, minus 4.7, minus 5.8, minus 4.7, minus 1.2, 8.8, 17.9, 3.4. Like, these guys do not hit cutters well. So that might be a good little piece and a little nugget to be able to get to Milwaukee, who is at home and maybe ends up having somewhat of a pitching advantage if that type of thing holds up, right? Like I said, Hayden Wesnecky has looked good, but I'd kind of throw him in the mediocre ballpark, and I would say Chad Patrick is kind of like that as well. So hopefully this Milwaukee team can kind of build off the momentum of the last two games, because they won both of those games 4-0, 5-1, and Houston can hopefully stay in their little bubble of doing bad because they've lost 4 of their last 5. Give me Milwaukee in this spot. In terms of total, I would say you can go either way, so I don't really want to, talk you into or off of anything. Maybe I'll lean towards the under, because I think Chad Patrick could have a decent game, right? And then it's not like the Brewers, even though they have won a couple straight, it's not like they're out here dropping 10 runs on you. They're scoring 4 or 5. I don't mind the idea of sticking to the first 5 with this Brewers team, though, if we're being honest, because it's really all about Chad Patrick in this spot, right? And I don't think that we can say that the bullpen is going to have the advantage over them. Now, this bullpen, decent amount of arms have gone in the last couple of days. Not exactly the highest of leveraged arms, but Houston's already a better bullpen, and they have most of their guys good to go. So maybe first 5 Milwaukee is the smarter move, that type of a thing. Even Houston team total under first 5 could be a look. We're putting a lot of damn weight into that cutter, though. Wow. All right, moving on to the Cubs taking on San Francisco. Cashed this one yesterday with that first 5. Now we have Colin Rea on the mound going up against Justin Verlander. Ray has had himself quite the start to the season. I think we can, give credit where it is due, right? In terms of his season stats, 1.46 ERA at home. He's been filthy, 0.86 whip, a FIP of 1.35, a batting average against of 182. So, yeah, I'm not trying to sit here and say that he's going to pitch poorly or anything like that. But Justin Verlander, kind of quietly, and it's been against LA, Texas, and Colorado. The Angels, by the way, LA. So I don't want to give too much credit either, but I will say that he's kind of quietly pitching into the 6th inning. 6 innings plus, right? 1 earned run, 2 earned run, not walking too many guys. And he has some decent numbers against this current Cubs roster. So I sense there's a chance that we see some Colin Rea, regression coming at some point. And it may be now, right? Against a pitcher that seems like he could be okay against him. So is it crazy to lean towards San Francisco in this spot? Right now, the odds you're getting are pretty damn good at plus 130 and beyond. So I think I'd go in that direction, but I might consider the idea of an over here, actually, just due to the fact that this Cubs offense is legit, right? So it's like, okay, well, if Colin Rea has a regression type day, okay, fine. But what if Verlander just kind of hasn't seen a good offense in a while, and he's going to allow 3 through 5, and then that bullpen is very good, but still kind of have concerns in my brain. But I feel like those concerns are being watered down now because they've looked pretty good. But either way, this is one of the better offenses in baseball, so I'm going to lean over. But I'm kind of close to trying to get to San Francisco, I'd say. And then no player props in this one as of right now. Minnesota taking on Baltimore. Another spot in which I like a favorite here. Minnesota got Pablo Lopez on the mound. He's had a decent year. Hasn't had the best of home starts, but he's going up against Cade Povich, who, like I've said multiple times, I was going into this year really willing to back Cade Povich and like him. He's been super inconsistent and just too inconsistent for me to really want to back. Whereas Pablo Lopez has been the definition of consistency. I know a lot of people don't like Pablo and all that. For 3 years now on the channel, I've been a pretty big Pablo Lopez guy. When his command's on, he's good. He also has that strikeout slider that he gets people to chase on. This is not a Baltimore team that hits the fastball, which is what he throws, or the slider very well. So, yeah, and you also have Cade Povich, who is a lefty, going up against, a bunch of righty bats. He struggles against the righty bats, and this is a Minnesota team that hits lefties pretty well. So give me Minnesota in this spot. I think they're kind of just better in all degrees, to be completely honest. Total-wise, maybe we take a peek at a Minnesota team total over. That may be better, and that way we can just say, hey, go attack Cade Povich. If you don't like Pablo Lopez, fine. Because I will say, if I'm being honest, and I keep saying if I'm being honest, but I do think that there's a level of Pablo Lopez regression potentially coming, and sure, it could come against this team, but his numbers against this Baltimore team are pretty damn good, so I don't know if I necessarily want to sit there and fade Pablo, but if you don't like him, if you're one of those people, maybe their team total over something that could interest you. All right, KC taking on the White Sox. I'm going back to what we cashed with yesterday. Taking a peek at that first 5 under. We can get it at 5 today. Seth Lugo on the mound going up against Sean Burke. I kind of swore off of Sean Burke, I know, a couple videos ago or maybe a couple starts ago from him, but I do like the idea of him against a KC offense that just doesn't seem to be fully there in a sense. And Seth Lugo, I think, I would hope doesn't have any problems with this White Sox offense, right? So yes, Sean Burke has been a guy that, I've backed plenty this year. He's only 50-50 to the first 5 under this line so far. On the road, he's 1-1. But that was also 2 runs against Boston in the loss that they scored. I don't know if they do that against Seth Lugo. Some good numbers against him. So yeah, first 5 under 5 is what I'll look at. And then I think we have to take a peek at potentially Kansas City on the run line, like maybe the first 5, so we make sure we get all those at-bats. There's nothing really that I'm sitting here like scratching my head really trying to get to the Chicago side of things at all. So yeah, that could be a spot. Do have some player props here. Chase Meredith, who obviously was kind of doing really, really well. Don't mind his under. I think that we could see the fastball and the curveball kind of catch him up today. Lugo can throw that fastball high if he really wants to, and Meredith kind of struggles with that. Also, Edgar Caro on the other side of things, I think, who has been hot, a guy that potentially has some regression coming his way as well. And then another one, and we've picked on this guy plenty this year, but man, oh man, do I think it could be worth it again. Andrew Vaughn, who it seems like every time we take him, he gets 0 of everything. But again, if we can take that first 5 under, I'd probably say, hey, this kind of messy game, I'm good with it. I don't need to mess with the player props, really. That might be the biggest thing I focus on, that first 5 under. All right, St. Louis, Pittsburgh. This is one that I've certainly gone back and forth on, and I would say my confusion comes from the pricing. Liberatore has been really good this year. I think that is clear. His numbers have been phenomenal in terms of him pitching against this Pirates team. He's got some really good numbers. But Paul Skeens also has phenomenal numbers against this St. Louis team. He's a phenomenal pitcher. So this is a really, really low total, meaning both pitchers are going to do well, and it's going to be low scoring. Wouldn't that aid itself and make you want to lean towards Skeens, right? And you're getting them at I would say a decent price. Right now you can get the Pirates at minus 126. Now they are on the road and they've only won, one game out of the last 7, 8, 9, something like that. But again, if this is a St. Louis offense that I would say bar none is better than Pittsburgh, right? But why is this total all the way down at 7 then? If the offense was going to be good and that's a big advantage for St. Louis here, wouldn't we see a higher number? Am I overreacting or overreading that line? Not all that sure. So I'm going to lean towards Pittsburgh in this spot. Maybe they get on a little bit of a win train here because, again, they've lost so many games in a row. But St. Louis's offense, I don't really see how they go out there and just, do really, really well against Skeens. It may be weird enough for me not to touch, though. I'll tell you that right now. When I saw the pitchers, wanted to get the first 5 under. But right now, let me just I didn't even look at the odds because of the fact that we're sitting at a total of 7. That first 5 under is going to be super low, and I don't know if it's worth looking there. Under 4 for minus 130. That's a little too game push. I don't know. There are some spots in which we could consider some player props here. I will say that with the 2 good pitchers on the mound. So some that we have jotted down here. I still want to go and kind of validate these more. So they're just kind of rough ones as of right now. But Liberatore, I do like the idea of backing him, getting some good lines here against an offense that I don't think is all that great. But let me just rattle these off, and then if you see them in the pinned comment, the reason behind these is that if I do like the lefty-righty splits, because I already like the matchup against Liberatore in general in pitch mix. But it's going to be Andrew McCutchen, under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. We also have, where's the other one? Canario, under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He's just kind of been stinking since he's been playing. And then Brian Reynolds, who has definitely hurt us multiple times, but you're getting plus money for that today. And then last but not least, Joey Bart there. He's really batting lefty pitchers well, so that might keep him off our list. But all 4 of those are things I considered because you're getting some good value. These are all plus 100 or minus 115 plays in a game in which there's a total of 7. There's not going to be that many hits, runs, and RBIs to go around. You know what I mean? All right, Colorado taking on Detroit. I don't think I have too much interest in this one. We have Chase Dollander going up against Jackson Jobe. Jobe, I do think, is good, and I don't know if he's really shown his best self consistently at all this year. And now he's pitching in cores. So maybe this is a spot in which we say, okay, yeah, sure, you can lean towards Colorado. They are at home. You're getting a good price. But the over could also be in play for me in this one. You have Detroit, has 9+ runs in 3 of their last 4 games. Still 3 of the last 5. And then you have Colorado, who, if they're going to give you like maybe 4 or 5, which they can certainly do, right? Especially at home, like their numbers and their ISO and power and slugging and all that go up. Like we could see somewhat of, success from them today if Job continues to do what he does. So I'll go Colorado in the over, but just notice that I'm not putting too much like confidence behind those words. And like I tell you guys all the time, I'm not going to fake confidence for content. I'm just saying that's what I would do if I had to. Does not mean at all that I'm going to get there. All right, we got Tyler Anderson going up against Eric Lauer. Blue Jays offense against the lefty does seem to be fairly good compared to a righty, but I think I'm going to look at the over. I think that this Angels offense hopefully can kind of get some things going here against, a pitcher, which I think he might even just be the opener. I want to kind of confirm that, but their offense hopefully is just looking for something. I feel like they've scored one, and I don't know the number behind this, but I feel like they've scored 1 run in like 5 games straight, unless I'm missing a couple there, but I know they just got smacked by Detroit a couple days ago. Toronto's offense kind of giving you middle-of-the-pack baseball right now, so if they can get going against Tyler Anderson, Toronto's not exactly in the best of pitching situations overall, right? Like if Lauer goes out there and starts for them, they have a lot of guys. Now, no one pitched yesterday, obviously, but they have a lot of guys that went the 3 days prior. We could see some runs, and this is already a Toronto bullpen that I feel like has its ups and downs to begin with. So give me, I would just say the over. That's really what I would take a peek at in this one. Arizona taking on, this is tough to do. Arizona taking on the Mets. If you guys don't know, I am such a big Zach Gallen fan, and this seems like a decent price to get him at, but he has kind of struggled at home this year. He is going up against a Mets lineup that is just very, very good. So I do have somewhat of my concerns, but he pitched really well against his Mets team last time out. The unfortunate thing in my dumb brain here is like, well, he pitched really well in his last start, which was against the Mets. They may be due to get him, right? And again, this Mets team is very good. They're going to give you like 4 runs minimum. I think they're averaging just about 5 runs per game. Not to say Arizona's offense is not going to go out there and score some runs either. Like in that same series, this Arizona offense didn't really do too much against David Peterson, but I could say the same thing about Gallen, right? It's like neither pitcher got hit up. They both pitched pretty well. Is there going to be some sort of bounce back or like equal and opposite reaction? Potentially. So I guess I'm going to lean towards the Mets. I think you're getting a fair price on them right now, getting a plus number next to them, and they just seem like this could be a nice bounce back spot against the guy that pitched well against them last time out. Zach Gallen, again, struggling at home. He throws a lot of fastballs. Mets should be able to hit that. On the other side of things, you have the sinker, the slider, the changeup from Peterson. They're not all that great against that, but again, he has some decent history against him, so I'll lean Mets and the over. I think that we could see runs here today, but this is very similar to a couple of the games we just talked about recently. It's like, this is what I think. Don't know if I'm getting down on it, if I'm being honest. I need to stop saying if I'm being honest. Everything I say is honest, and sometimes it's stupidly honest, yet we still roll with it. So if I say I'm being honest, I'm going to pinch myself next time. I like that I threw in the potential physical harm with 1 game to go, so like I didn't have a whole lot of games to try and not say if I'm being, you know what, not going to pinch myself. But we got the Athletics here taking on Seattle. Hancock on the mound going up against Jeffrey Springs. Both these pitchers, no bueno. But I'm still like I'm a crazy person for this, by the way, but I'm still like a non-believer in either one of these offenses, even though Seattle seems to be like one of the best offenses on the road this year. And the A's are averaging, 4.5 runs per game. I would say that this is a spot in which I like Seattle. I think that even though Hancock kind of stinks, you're getting plus money in a good spot for them right now. And really close game yesterday, right? They lose 7-5, 7-6, and it took 2 runs and extras for the Athletics. Like, if you're getting plus money, I think that this could be fairly, back and forth. Throw in the fact that, Springs is going to throw a lot of the slider, the changeup, the fastball. The fastball being the pitch that, they actually hit the worst. If you go slider change, I think we could have some success here. The changeup in particular. You have guys like Crawford, Arozarena. You have Jose Rodriguez. These guys are just waiting for the changeup. So, yeah, I'm going to lean towards Seattle. And I guess over, because these offenses, even though I don't fully believe in them, if they've kind of been proving me wrong. And then no player props in this one either. But guys, it's going to wrap it up for today's show. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment 34. Really do appreciate you sticking around with me and just watching and interacting and being part of this community for most of us on a daily basis, right? Like, truly do appreciate that, right? But yeah, comment 34. Let me know that you made it as far in this video. We'll catch you guys in the next one, right? Peace out.